On the surface, Over the Hedge is a family-friendly movie that critiques human consumerism, highlights the environmental impact of urbanization, and emphasizes the loss of natural habitat for wildlife. Now, upon rewatching this movie, I noticed a more sinister meaning that totally went over my head as a kid. RJ was looking for a way to survive and encountered something evil. Sit back and relax as I explain the darker meaning behind Over the Hedge. RJ, like many of us, is just trying to make it. The movie begins with RJ trying to get food from a vending machine, but it malfunctions. After many unsuccessful attempts, he contemplates getting food from a dangerous bear. RJ's stomach begins to rumble and he climbs the mountain because he is hungry. He sneaks into the mouth of the cave and grabs whatever he can. Before he has time to leave with his dinner, he becomes mesmerized by the sight of Vince's stash. RJ, in his conniving ways, manages to hurdle over Vince and reach the mother lode. RJ knows Vince is a dangerous bear that would kill him in a heartbeat. He even says, "Just take what you need." RJ collected all of Vince's food in a wagon and launched himself and the loot over Vince. He had the bear's entire stash and could have left unnoticed, but RJ wanted it all. RJ pulled an Indiana Jones and the bear was awakened by a light noise. RJ gets caught red-handed and pleads his case, claiming he was just trying to feed his family, which was a family of one. In comedic fashion, RJ accidentally sends the wagon off the mountain. The wagon ends up on a busy road where a semi wrecks it. Vince becomes enraged and is about to eat RJ. Instead, RJ cuts a deal with the beast in order to save his life. He must bring Vince all of the food he destroyed by the time the moon is full. The beast disappears into his cave and RJ wanders the streets hopelessly. That night, RJ was blessed with unimaginable amounts of luck and possessed the knowledge of right versus wrong. He had many opportunities to do the right thing and leave safely, but decided to let greed consume him and it cost him his soul. Now, he's in debt to an evil bear without any sign of finding food. From here on out, RJ does whatever it takes to repay the beast. After RJ's encounter with Vince, RJ begins to practice in the ways of deception and does some questionable things. In a vibrant forest located in the center of a suburban complex, RJ comes across a family of hardworking, friendly animals. He watches them from a distance out of curiosity. Winter has come to an end and spring is in motion. Vern, the family leader, gathers everybody to eat and explains their mission. After hearing the family plan at gathering food, RJ begins to manipulate his way into the family's good graces, being very subtle at first, using his calm demeanor to pretend like he has the answers. Vern is a level-headed leader who always follows his instinct. The moment RJ introduces himself, he entices the family with unimaginable amounts of food, promising them they could have enough food to fill their log in just 1 week. The family is listening to RJ because he speaks as if he has the answers. Vern's suspicions didn't go unheard. Vern went over the hedge and had a terrifying experience, nearly dying in the process. He warns the family about trusting RJ because what he promises comes at a cost. Each family member is aware of Vern's concerns, but are blinded by RJ's charisma. After RJ's suburban tour, the group considers letting RJ become part of the family. They like him and trust him, only because RJ created a fake sob story to pull out their heartstrings. They accept RJ into the family with open arms. Things only go downhill from here. RJ manages to get the family addicted to junk food to the point where they have cravings. He turns them into thieves while exploiting them for his own personal gain. Before they met RJ, the family would gather food peacefully in the forest. Some may argue there's not enough food left because of the city moving around them. That's a valid argument, but they seemed to be doing fine just before they met RJ. Under RJ's influence, Hammy, who is a funny, energetic nutball, becomes a con artist. RJ coerced Hammy to approach 2 humans while posing as a squirrel with rabies in order to snatch a wagon full of food. Hammy is nearly killed in the process, while RJ tries to convince Vern he had the situation under control, a complete lie. Throughout the next few days, RJ convinces everybody to steal, scheme, and disregard all of Vern's warnings. Vern refuses to partake in devious activities and urges the others to do the same. There is a scene that shows RJ has hope after he begins to feel guilty about his actions. He knows he's playing them and leading them to a burning end. The family makes RJ his own room because they remember the story about losing his home. This story may have been fabricated, but he never had a family until now. He feels bad for a moment but snaps out of it and remembers his deal with the beast. Vern knows what kind of fate awaits the family if they keep stealing junk food. RJ and the gang stirred up so much trouble an exterminator was called, and Vern is worried. He decides to return the wagon full of food, but RJ intervenes. Vern snaps and yells at RJ, causing the dog to wake up and attack the both of them. A funny scene that highlights the destruction that follows RJ wherever he goes. Vern even calls RJ the devil. After this, RJ completely turns the family against Vern. It wasn't hard to do because Vern gets angry and calls the family stupid for listening to RJ. Vern makes complete sense except his method of delivery was wrong. The family is blind because RJ has manipulated them into believing that their actions are right. Vern is at his wit's end and just wants to be with his family. He concedes to RJ's methods and they begin to plan a massive heist. The family forgives Vern because RJ convinced him to. Everybody has a part to play in this dangerous endeavor. They manage to avoid traps, alarms, and a cat while gathering all of the food. RJ directs everybody as they collect the food at a decent pace. The wagon is full and they're about to leave, but RJ insists on grabbing one last thing. Desperately climbing the shelves, he reveals his true intentions. For a moment, everybody gasps in shock after what RJ had just said. But by the time everybody realized they were set up, RJ was gone. Along with the food, RJ sacrificed the people who took him in and treated him like family. Lou apologizes to Vern for not listening to his warnings, but Vern takes full responsibility because he knew RJ couldn't be trusted. After making his way to the top of the hill, RJ confronts Vince. He has brought back all the food he has destroyed. The Beast admires RJ and calls his actions the most deceitful, self-serving thing he has ever seen, going as far as to claim him and RJ are alike. At this moment, RJ recognizes how soulless and cold he's become, realizing that he already had all he had ever wanted, which was a family and a sense of belonging. A spark ignites in RJ as he begins to see the light. For the first time, he wants to do the right thing. He must ask for forgiveness. He has betrayed the family who trusted him with their lives. RJ wants to redeem himself. He must right his wrongs with action. Free from the constraints of the Beast, RJ destroys the food that got him in the situation in the first place. In heroic fashion, he launched the wagon of food downhill straight towards the exterminator's van. It appears RJ values doing the right thing instead of being selfish. He attempts to free everybody from captivity. The family wants nothing to do with RJ, rightfully so. Vince is determined to kill RJ and his family. Meanwhile, Vern tells everyone to forgive RJ because he has come back to rescue them. Vern explains how his instincts are telling him that RJ is trying to do better based on his actions. RJ's forgiven and they manage to lose the bear, for now. The family drives the car straight into Nancy's house. They head towards the forest only to be met with Vince. Caught in between a dangerous bear and two deranged humans, RJ tells Vern to run away with the family and let him face Vince alone. Vern appreciates RJ's heroism, but insists on working together. In spectacular fashion, Hammy is given liquid speed, which slows down time from his perspective. The two humans and bear are tricked into a trap. They outsmarted their enemies and killed two birds with one stone. Vern tells RJ if he would have been honest about the bear from the beginning, they would have helped him, because family is about helping each other out and working together. The movie ends with RJ expressing his gratitude for their forgiveness, and Hammy finds his nuts. Over the Hedge is a movie about a raccoon who sells his soul to have it all, and spends the entirety of the movie repaying the Beast for his soul back, until RJ finds the light and seeks forgiveness for his actions. If you haven't already figured it out, I believe this movie can be interpreted as a biblical story, not to mention the many biblical references included in the movie. The Spuddies represent the forbidden fruit which RJ gladly enjoys. Vern calls RJ the devil, and RJ walks on water, signifying that he is the Antichrist. As a child, I never paid attention to the dialogue or plot, mostly because Hammy was making me laugh hysterically. I only noticed this biblical interpretation after watching this movie recently. If you look past the obvious message of American consumerism and environmental deterioration, you see a kid-friendly movie with a great storyline about doing the right thing and the importance of family. I know some of you feel that I'm reaching, which is okay. This movie is littered with many biblical references that I didn't include. Go watch this movie for yourself and tell me what you think. Whether you saw this movie as a kid or as an adult, both viewing experiences leave you with a sense of closure.